Right, this is my 1970 T120 Bonneville. This is what we're going to try this morning. Pretty tidy bike. Not a minter by any means of imagination. Anyway, we'll get off for a ride and I'll give you a few specs on it and bits and pieces I know about it. Right, as I said before, as we were setting off with it, it's a T120R, it's an American import, it's got English tank, number plate and such as that on an English bars. Other than that, it's a 120R. I bought it, I saw it cheap somewhere to be quite honest and bought it. Hey up. I'm actually running tall gearing on it. It's a QD rear wheel and I've got the rear sprocket off a 500, which I think is about 3 teeth smaller on back. Just makes it a bit of a lazy bike. Suits my riding better. I'm a nice enough bike, not wrong with it. Of course it's got big twin leading front brake on, so front brake's not over back brake. I've got to admit, I've got a bit of a soft spot for it. I was saying the other day when I was out on Norton that Norton's, I think it's a lot better bike, and now I'm saying Triumph. Just a nice little light bike for this sort of carry on. Absolutely marvellous. This is same route I did with 750 at Norton. It's an omelette route I take to go up to Squires on a morning for a cup of tea, meet a few lads. That were a bit fresh. I've just passed Storage Works. There's allowed to be a law-abiding citizen now. No, I mean I always am. It's not too cold today, but it's a bit of an overcast day. I think where the forecast says sun's not going to get out, but it's not going to rain, so hope we haven't got rain's a good day. Obviously didn't offend that copper. I mean, I wasn't speeding at all. I'm perfectly entitled to do 60 mile an hour down here. I take it he's got to set it wrong place. One thing about this Triumph, the clutch is about, well, half as hard again as to Norton. Norton's a really nice light clutch, and this is quite an heavy clutch. Pretty much typical British bike. It's just what it is. It's normally if I'm riding this and I want to cruise it, I normally cruise at about 65 mile an hour, something like that. Yeah, it'll snap a bit more, but normally it always ends up with a few oil leaks or something to mess about with. I mean, this isn't as bad as the 65 I had. The 65 used to vibrate a little bit. Luckily my brother was a welder, so there would all of a sudden it weld oil tank up and mud guards and such for me. The difference with this is you can feel all the vibrations. On the Norton you don't feel oh, very little. 'cause the switch gear on this is that on button, high and low. That's all you get on one of these. Oh, and switching middle foot to head light and side light. .4,000 revs makes 65-ish, which, I don't know, it feels plenty fast enough for this. I mean, make no mistake, it'll do a lot more than that. I can't say as I've ever had it flat out. I had one of these when I was 17. I bought it off a lad who used to, well, my dad bought it off a lad who used to race it, and I ended up buying it off my dad. I gave him a grand sum of 130 quid for it. And it got different cams in, 11-to-1 pistons, miles over jetted, and it used to go like holy hell fire. But it was a sharp piece of kit. In its day, I should say. The trouble was it vibrated a lot, and if you caned it about, like I said, my brother would always welding bits up for me. I blew it up a few times anyway. I ended up having a crash on it, and I built it all back to standard trim. I had that bike for about 17 years. And I just got fed up of messing about with it and such as that, and I sold it and bought my son a Z1000. I can't even remember what I sold it for. I sold it for 1200 quid, which wasn't bad money. And then probably 30 years later, something like that, I saw it down at Lincoln Show. And I wasn't talking to the lad who owned it, I was talking to another lad. And he was telling me how he'd done it all up and all this, that and the rest on it, and it was exactly the same as when I'd sold it. Even down to some silly little details which I'd done. So, it certainly hadn't been done up. I mean, there used to be a bloke up at Borough Bridge, and he bought a lot of stock out of Meriden when they shut down. But a bloke called RF Man. I can't remember why it was RF Man or whatever else, but see there, got box salt wrong way round because I've been riding it Norton. I was coming in junction end then, I thought I'd changed it down again, but basically I changed it up again at a third. This bloke at RF Man, he bought well, a lot of spares out of Meriden factory when they shut down, and you could go to him and get virtually everything. There wasn't much you couldn't get. At the same time, we got I think it was a 59 6T Thunderbird, whatever it was, and we got all bits off him for that. And mudguard in original paint, wrapped in brown paper and all that sort of stuff. He literally did have everything for him. But I think it's easier to get spares now than what it was back in 70s, or 80s in my case. Late 70s, early 80s. I mean, there were bike shops everywhere then. There were more local bike shops, and if you went into Leeds, it was literally full of bike shops. And I always used to use a bloke called Danny Cork. He took over what were Kitson's in Tetley's Brewery at Leeds. He was a good fella, but he didn't have know his stuff. His lads ended up running a place up on York Road. I mean, if his dad's alive, he must be an old fella now, but he was a nice bloke. I was going alright with him anyway. Done it again. Keep forgetting which way Gearbox is. This is only Triumph I've got now, so it's upside down to all my other British bikes. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. That 16H is this way around. One up, rest down. No, one down, rest up. Bah, if I knew what I was saying, I'd be dangerous, wouldn't I? don't know if she's picked a bit of crap up in one of idle jets with being stood, but she seems to falter when you're just setting off. Got harvesters on this big field of corn. Another big stupid stand. Just had to put reserve fuel on there. I thought she was spluttering a bit. that's my morning coffee done. I'll get myself off home now. See what else I can find to play with. Mile an hour at Norton Commandos, miles smoother than this. Just a different bike, I don't know. I think every one of them's somewhat different. Anyway, I'll say thanks for watching.